switch over to Leena. She's working with a GBI, and they are connecting businesses along the battery value chain in India. So it's a similar topic, a similar type of work, but other country and probably other position of looking at the market as well. So Leena, stage is yours. Looking forward to your presentation.
Thanks, Maximilian. It's been interesting actually to be in close contact with you after what 𝗕𝘁𝘁𝗃𝗁𝗃, shared just now, about the background and the history of how we met, when we kind of built a collaboration over the EU-India Trade and Technology Council's battery recycling project. 𝗕𝘁𝘁𝗃𝗁𝗃, really nice to meet you, and I know you've been in touch with my colleague 𝗕្રતિ Satsanghi, and of course, I have to really, first of all, thank Leader Saxon Next, as well as the TraWeBa team, both Sasha and Alexander, who really showed exactly what 𝗕𝘁𝘁𝘁𝗃 said, which is you work closely together to build something and make something possible. I mean, about a year ago when they participated in our matchmaking event and they reached out to say we would welcome the Indian companies, even right after that, TraWeBa was actually very true to its word in really working with us to build a fantastic agenda for the visit, so thank you very much. And we believe that was the beginning. And I remember discussing, saying, I mean, just once we got to know TraWeBa, we discussed and said, this is the beginning of building a bridge between Germany and India, because there are so many great things you all are doing in terms of an ecosystem. And we look forward to this being one of the few steps that we're going to take, few or many steps we're going to take in the years to come. So about GBI, for all of you who don't know us, so we are a 16-year-old international business tech and innovation management platform. We are based in Bangalore and Delhi in India, but also we have offices in the EU in Bulgaria. In the UK, we are based in Cambridge, working very closely with the Cambridge Clean Tech and the Oxfordshire Clean Tech ecosystem. And in the US, we also have an office in Maryland. And we focus on 3 verticals, which is climate action, biotechnology, health, and digital transformation. And essentially what we set ourselves out to do was we were seeing, very exciting technologies around the world. I mean, as you know, today R&D is prolific, in different parts of the world, but also market adopters around the world, exist that are looking for technology. And, we felt like there was not enough of not just a bridge, but a consistent and continuous process to facilitate the process of technology access and deployment. I mean, where our heart lies is in the word deployment, because I think even knowing about technology today is one thing. It's getting easier, but I think the biggest challenge for all of us who are in the technology ecosystem or the battery ecosystem is the actually getting the deployment done, for a technology in a new international market. And that's really the problem statement GBI solves every day for companies from around the world that want to enter the Indian market, and also for Indian companies that are looking at entering international markets. And as a team, especially in the circularity space, we really believe this is a global interplay between technology, innovation, and market access. And if you look at supply chains, whether it is battery recycling or something like sustainable aviation fuel, I mean, you can't have a flight taking off from Bangalore, reaching Frankfurt, and not being able to kind of be fueled with sustainable aviation fuel. Or the same thing, if the same flight has to go to Washington, D.C., you also need to have that. So if we work on circularity, we have to work together as a world, and we want to enable global ecosystems to do that. Same thing for battery recycling and supply chains. This is, again, something that, it's not country specific. So the more we work together, the better it is. And we feel that for innovators, a lot of time, they waste looking at their own market. And if they feel that they're not making traction there, that they feel that, they are failing. But, what we are telling innovators is try to test in 3 markets at least at the same time. Not look at just one singular market at a time, which is actually a lot of people, when we talk about it, they're like, oh yeah, why didn't I think about it? Because every investor tells them, first get traction in your local market, and then we see if you can succeed globally. So this is really, we are challenging the norm and saying, here we are here to provide you value in entering multiple global markets, testing multiple global markets, piloting in multiple global markets at the same time. And for investors and countries, really, they really look at, they can really, reduce the vulnerabilities of their supply chain, and also work much better on conservation on resources and raw materials. And when you look at technology access at a global level, the progress can also be more equitable, basically globally. So this is really, our thesis, so to speak, on the framework within which we operate and work. And this cross-border innovation deployment is key, basically to think beyond local regional ecosystems and work with global partners, enable new thinking and perspectives, and basically SMEs can increase their chances of success. And we have been supporting companies with these 6 to 7 markets, which is the EU, UK, US, LATAM, India, Africa, and Southeast Asia. And we also believe that the battery value chain is one where markets and innovators need these global market access interventions. So, I mean, for all of you who are new to India, I know Jonas talked a little bit about it, but this is, we wanted to summarize. I have just 5 minutes to speak, and I think I'm already going to overrun. But really, it's a very, very attractive play right now. One is the EU-India TTC is really all set to focus and is focusing on the battery sector. India itself is very focused on battery sectors because therefore, resilient supply chain, self-reliance on critical minerals, also because of the clean energy transition. They are, this is a very, very critical for India. So it's not just, something they're doing on the way, by the way, but it's a priority. I mean, today, as a person who also lives in India, apart from the EU, I see so many people buying electric vehicles. So it's like Germany now. You see so many electric vehicles plying Indian roads, and battery technology is something that they're very, very keen to look into. Innovative solutions, battery solutions, management solutions, and so on and so forth, charging infrastructure, then renewable energy charging infrastructure. So it's like a number of things. So that are continue to going to grow out here. And in India, actually, it's just the beginning. So it's a very right time that we are having this, showcasing to you this platform with stakeholders from your side and in India who can handhold you through really developing and entering the Indian market, and also for Indian players to build partnerships in the EU and Germany. So yeah, and one of the
just
things
keep an eye on the time, please.
Yes, I'm going to wrap up soon. One of the things I want to encourage is for anybody who looks at coming to a market like India to always think about how fast they can start their first pilot project. It's not just to find customers and partners, but to really look at deploying your first project. I think that's very, very critical. Oftentimes people come, to kind of meet with partners, but I think always your aim should be your first project on the ground. So the other thing is, in that process of the journey, we are working very, very closely with investors and funding. I mean, one of the things in the technology market space, the biggest barriers is how do you raise money for the work that you need to do? So for, we have an approach where we look at blended financing approaches at GBI. So while for lower TRL levels, we look at, a developmental and philanthropic funding, or public sector funding. For TRL 7 and above, there is a whole group of investors that are quite interested in exploring new battery technologies. In fact, we've curated a list of 100 Indian climate tech investors and working very closely with 10, at a very personal level to bring innovative solutions into the Indian market. And I'm going to illustrate one such example of an Indian investor, which is a 20-year-old company, which is a project developer and an investor in green tech renewable energy solutions, who reached out to us because they wanted innovative technology in lithium-ion battery recycling, and an alternative to pyro and hydrometallurgy, which is more innovative, like direct recycling. So, like I said, it's not just about doing things in how it's been done, but also what about technologies that are more newer and can actually change the game. So they're willing to bring in investment, actually support with the entire project development cycles, regulatory approvals, bring the stakeholders together in India to do this. So it's not just money and investment, but also the whole project development. So this is like an example, and of an investor who's very keen. So if any of you have interesting solutions on battery recycling, or waste management, circular economy, we'll be interested in. Also innovative battery technologies. Like I said, we work with multiple investors. We can help you. And I'm wrapping up very quickly. This is the case study that Jonas already talked about, how we work
Leena,
together.
I would say in sake that we give the other companies enough time talking already. And since you will describe your platform anyway in the end, maybe should well, yeah, I would say let's give the audience a chance for another question, and then you can wrap it up in the end, because then you will present your connecting platform anyway, if that is okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. The meeting is in your hands.
Thank you very much. So is there a question to GBI? A quick one. Otherwise, we will move over to the next company, and the company is called